Topic, it is the auditory tube. It is also known as the eustachian tube or nasopharyngeal tube. In this diagram, this is the auditory tube. This is the tympanic cavity or the middle ear cavity. Behind it is the mastoid antrum. And this is the part of the pharynx. So, this auditory tube, it is a osseocartilaginous channel. Osseocartilaginous means it has the bony part and the cartilaginous part. So, it is a osseocartilaginous channel. It is lined internally by the mucous membrane. Mucous membrane, that is of the nasal cavity, pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium that lines this tube internally. This auditory tube connects the nasopharynx with the tympanic cavity. This tympanic cavity and the nasopharynx are connected by this eustachian tube, pharyngotympanic tube. And this auditory tube maintains the equilibrium of the air pressure on both sides of the tympanic membrane. It is an important function of this eustachian tube. On the both sides of the tympanic membrane, it maintains the equilibrium of the air pressure so that this membrane properly vibrate. In adult, this auditory tube is about 36 mm in length and it is obliquely placed. Not horizontal plane, it is obliquely placed, and the direction from the tympanic cavity from forward to behind, it is directed downwards, forwards and the medially. If you trace from the tympanic cavity to the nasopharynx, its direction is downward, forward and the medially from the tympanic cavity. It makes an angle of 45 degrees with the sagittal plane. The sagittal plane, it makes angle of 45 degree, while it makes angle of 30 degree with the horizontal plane. Means it is obliquely placed. Now the parts of the auditory tube. It is a osseocartilaginous channel, so it has the bony part and the cartilaginous part, and the junction of these two parts is the isthmus, where bony parts meet with the cartilaginous part, and it is the most narrowest part of this eustachian tube. Now if you see the bony part, this bony part, it is present posterolaterally. And it forms about 1/3 part of the auditory tube. Means it forms about, its length is about 12 millimeter. This bony part forms 1/3 of the auditory tube. And this bony part is present between the petrous and the ischiumous part of the temporal bone. This bony part begins from the tympanic cavity or middle ear cavity. If you remember, the anterior wall of the middle ear cavity, in the upper part there are two openings in the anterior wall. The upper opening for the presence of the tensor tympani muscles, while the lower opening, it is the opening of the auditory tube, and the both are separated by the hook-like structures, bony process, that is the process trochleariformis. Remember, the middle ear cavity. Now this cartilaginous part, it is the anteromedial. It is the anteromedial part, and it forms about 2/3 of the auditory tube. Means it forms about 24 mm parts of the auditory tube. This cartilaginous part is made up of the single piece of elastic fibrocartilage. This green structures, it is the single elastic, this is the single elastic fibrocartilage in this diagram. Now this single piece of cartilage folded itself and it forms whole the medial wall. This is the medial wall. This complete medial wall is formed by this cartilage. It forms the complete roof. This is the roof. And it forms a part of the lateral wall. This is the lateral wall. So, this cartilage folded itself to form the base, medial wall, roof and the lateral wall. And it is deficient laterally. So, this part, remaining part of the lateral wall, this remaining part, this red line, is formed by the fibrous membrane. So, it is the fibrous membrane. This is the fibrous membrane. So, this single piece of the elastic fibrocartilage folded and formed the following walls of this cartilaginous part, while its remaining lateral wall is formed by the fibrous membrane. And this fibrous membrane, it is covered by, now there is a pad of the fat is present. In this diagram, this opening is closed and this is the open. Come on the next point. This is the pharyngeal opening. Pharyngeal opening orifice of the auditory tube. In this diagram, it is closed and it is open. Now, if you remember, this cartilaginous part of this auditory tube lodges in the sulcus tubi. Sulcus tubi, it is a groove-like structures present on the inferior surface of the base of the skull. The sulcus tubi is present between the petrous part of the temporal bone and the greater wing of the sphenoidal bone. Between these two bones, the sulcus tubi is present, and this contains the cartilaginous part of the auditory tube. Now the isthmus. This is the isthmus. This is the junction of the bony and the cartilaginous part of the auditory tube, present between the petrous and the squamous part of the temporal bone. It is the narrowest part of the auditory tube, narrowest part. And in adult, this isthmus is angulated, while in the infants there is no angulations. We will come on the difference between the adult and the infant auditory tube. Why it is angulated? Because this bony part and the cartilaginous part does not lie in the same plane, as a result of which there is an angle, there is angulation at the isthmus. Now the ends. This auditory tube has the two ends. The end towards the tympanic cavity, it is the tympanic end, and there is an opening, this is the tympanic orifice. It is present on the anterior wall of the tympanic cavity, and this is oval in shape. It is the osseous and the oval in shape, while the pharyngeal end, that is towards the lateral wall of the nasopharynx. Remember the lateral wall of the nasopharynx. It is situated about 1.25 centimeter behind and slightly below the posterior end of the inferior nasal concha. We have learned in the nasopharynx there is opening of the auditive tube, and its posterior margin there is a bulging. This bulging is due to this cartilage that is known as the torus tuberis. Torus tuberis. We have learned in the nasopharynx, and here beneath the mucosa there is a collection of the lymphoid tissue and the form tubal tonsil. So this pharyngeal orifice opening is present lateral wall of the nasopharynx, about half inch behind and slightly below the posterior end of the inferior nasal concha, and there is a bulging that is bounded posteriorly, and this bulging is due to this cartilage that is known as the torus tuberis.